6 o'clock. I'd like to call the village board meeting of Monday, March 4th, 2024 to order. And we will, and this meeting is virtual and in person, we will do roll call. We have one of our trustees who is virtual tonight. So we will start with trustee Booker. All right. Trustee Woods. Here. Trustee Owens. Here. Trustee Thompson. Here. Trustee Greaves. Here. Trustee Johnson. Present. President Montgomery here. We would invite you to stand with us as we recite the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on our agenda is persons desiring to be heard. Is there anyone? No. All right, we will move to item 4, which is elected officials and staff reports. There are items for the report for in your packet. The one thing that I don't know that it was in my report, just want to acknowledge that the village, oh yeah, it is. No, that's not it. Yes, it is. That we hosted our first Black History program last week, and I think we had 6 of our trustees that were in attendance. It was very well attended. I thought it was a good program, worthy of a repeat. So we will see how that moves forward. But are there questions about any of the other staff reports? Yes.
Okay, I'm not sure if this is something we're gonna talk about in later on in the closed session, but I was just wanted to ask about the U.S. bank side. Is that something we're gonna?
There'll be an update in closed session. Yep. Yeah, but for the general public, it's up for sale. So I mean, that's not a secret, but yeah, I do have an update on that site just because that is in TID 5, and we spoke with the broker. So yeah, I do have an update on that.
And then had a couple of questions on the library. One, they had a gas leak. Did that get taken care of?
The gas leak is on the outside. It's a small leak. It has no impact on anyone working at the space. It will be fixed this week. They have to shut off the HVAC system, and so there will be about a 2 or so. They estimate about a 2-hour disruption. So they just had to have a contractor come on to help with some of the shut-offs there. So it'll be sometime this week that they'll be fixed.
And then sticking with the library, everybody knows I'm on Harley guy. They had a little earlier about the Harley Museum.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, what's the attraction pass collection?
So there's different sites that people can reserve for a few days to be able to utilize. So like the Audubon Center, the Children's Museum, the Public Museum, the zoo. So they have different passes where, you know, individuals or families can have the pass and be able to utilize as a family pass for free during the 3 days that they have it. Yeah. Yep.
Anyone else?
Yes, I'm glad Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Related to your meeting with Frank Cumberbatch, is there anything you can share with us?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I mean, we, so as you know, the development tours that we'll highlight in our updates, we do about 1 a month. We gave him a development tour showing some different sites. we felt that with him, just with his contacts too, just so he would understand what the common vision was of our main development sites and priorities. So that was kind of the main takeaway there for Frank. I didn't get a sense that for him himself was pursuing a project, but just with his contacts that, to be an advocate for Brown Deer and, put us in touch if he came across someone that was pursuing a common vision of that. So that was the outcome of that development tour. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? If not, we can move on to item number 5, which is our consent agenda. And in our consent agenda, we have consideration of minutes from February 19th, accept the 2023 fourth quarter year-to-date financials, consider approval of the detective sergeant position description, and consider approval to issue requests for proposals on liability and property insurance. Are there any questions on any of those items? And I know the chief is here. I'm assuming that there are questions about the job description. And Kyle, can you just give trustee, Booker?
You'll need to unmute yourself, Renee.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight that in the finance committee meeting, there was presented through the financials a surplus, year-end surplus of, I think it was a little over $600,000 that will go to the general fund, which I think is excellent. I think it's excellent.
Yeah.
I said that you would say that.
Well, it's one of my goals I had for him. He's already achieving it. So.
It was a really positive year. I mean, it was between some good miscellaneous revenue coming in, as well as staff doing a fantastic job of managing expenses. So that combination helped. If you look also outside of just the general fund, if you add up all the funds, it was about just over a $2 million surplus. A big part of that was because we almost got $1 million donation with the library, which we announced midway through last year. But even if you remove that with the other funds, it was another close to $500,000 of a surplus there too. So yeah, a really good financial year for the village, and yeah, we'll certainly need that addition to the general fund balance.
Kyle, did you or the chief want to say anything about this position?
Yeah, other than that, it was reviewed by the Personnel and Finance Committee, and they had some general questions, but they recommended unanimously for the board to approve. So other than that, Chief, did you have anything else you wanted to comment on?
I don't really, unless there's any specific questions.
I don't have any. I mean, we talked about it earlier, so. If not, it's a part of the consent agenda, and we need a motion to approve that.
So I move approval of the consent agenda.
It's been moved by trustee Booker, second by trustee Thompson to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you. Under new business, we have to discuss some possible consideration of the 2024 goals for the village manager. Those are in your packet. And these were things that I think some of us identified, that may have been identified multiple times. Are there, get into this. Thank you, by the way, for the mouse. It'll be connected by next week, maybe even tomorrow, so I can kind of get to it. Any questions about the goals? Or did you want to go through?
Yeah.
However you want. proceed with, there was, 12 goals that, Tyler and I talked about, after we had our meeting here and that. And there were, a couple other ones that, I had sent to Tyler and said we would kind of talk about those, but after I looked at that one, about the layman's terms.
Yeah,
Basically, I think.
do you feel like it's included under number 11?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
That'd be great.
Okay, yeah, that was what I was gonna offer, because I tried to put that last sentence in there to
Right.
hit it before it's sent out. So really the one that I think was missed, to trustee Owen's comment based on the discussion last meeting, was just having some kind of committee or group evaluate the template. Because I think some of you, as you're going through the evaluation, mentioned that, you know, some of the areas just doesn't resonate anymore and needs to be updated. So I included some language that the board's okay adding in goal number 13 that would say assign the finance and personnel committee to review the village manager evaluation template and make a recommended change for the village board's approval. So that would be another goal to add on. But otherwise, as trustee Owens mentioned, you know, he and I sat down, we formulated everyone's thoughts and just put it into this document so it was in one place.
I do have a question, goal number 12, and I don't know if this was, it may have been in place when you first came. We started doing some stuff around, Emily Secrets had made some proposals.
That, yeah, what she had proposed was a sustainability action plan, which it would have cost in the neighborhood of $25,000-$30,000 to have a contractor do a full assessment of the village and put together an action plan. You know, and that's where through the budget process, the staff discussed, you know, about half of those items that they probably would have recommended, like we could have put in motion instantly.
Yeah.
We didn't feel like a contractor would need to let us know that, so we felt we made the recommendation at the time to use for, I think it was the guns, because the gun replacement needed to be made. You know, I would say on this one, and trustee Greaves, I think you had mentioned that in your comments, is just when we work with developers, you know, trying to find incentives that they can incorporate, you know, more environmental and sustainability initiatives, which is something that we can certainly do as part of the negotiations with them. But otherwise, I think really the main one on this is when we sit down and look at the CIP, whether it's with the facilities or with vehicles, you know, try to find ways to also incorporate some sustainability components. So when I do my self-evaluation, that's, unless there's something more specifically you would want to identify, those are some of the things I would mention as far as our action steps that staff are taking to address that one.
Okay. Questions? No. And again, I would just suggest this is what we would be pretty much evaluating at the end of the year. So keeping these somewhere so that you know, and you can even jot down notes as it relates to these things when you get the weekly reports. So trying to figure out what's what. I know that's,
You're not really that issue.
I'm just making a suggestion.
Yeah.
I mean, really, you can,
Right,
you got it.
we get it.
All right. I did left brain, right brain. All right, so we need a motion to approve.
Yeah, and just whoever says the motion, you can use the language that is included in the memo, but just maybe add at the end with the inclusion of the additional goal based on updating the village manager evaluation template, something like that.
So somebody, okay,
I move to approve the 2024 goals for the village manager, with the inclusion of, an item 13, which we discussed in. Second.
it's been moved by trustee Owens, second by trustee Greaves to approve the 2024 goals for the village manager. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item number 7 is to recess into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin 1985-1C for the following reasons. E, that's the E, that's the E. All right, deliberating or negotiating purchasing of public properties, investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Public House 55 user and TID 4 and 5 development. Is there a motion? I move that we go into closed session. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by trustee Thompson and seconded by trustee Woods to go into closed session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any motion carries. So it is 7:20 and we have returned into open session. There is no further business, so I move adjournment at 7:20 p.m. Have a good night. Thank you.